Welcome, my friends. This is the Houston and Sean podcast. It's episode 8. We have decided this episode to bring to you an episode about holidays. And why are we doing this? It's because it's one of the greatest holidays in all of America. Okay? It's St. Patty's Day. This is the day where people get drunk or drink a lot because that's what the Irish do. So we honored that. And we're both wearing green shirts. We're both doing great. It's a great day here. I think it's a great day over there where Houston's at. He's at the East Coast, Pennsylvania, and I am on the West Coast, Boise, Idaho. So yeah, so Houston, what do you think about holidays?
Well, first of all, let's stay on the topic because today is St. Patty's Day. Um, and are you Irish? Are you like
I am Irish. I mean, my name is extremely Irish, and my grandfather on my father's side was extremely Irish in the sense that 100% I guess he immigrated with his family during some sort of I feel like before like during the Irish like time going to New York City, there's a
mm,
movie about it, Gangs of New York.
hmm That's a great movie, by the way. Yeah, because I forgot first of all that today was St. Patty's Day. I mean, I don't drink anymore, unfortunately. So like I mean that's basically what St. Patty's Day seems like it is just an excuse for people to get people to get drink, for people to get drunk, basically, and go out and party. And I feel like a lot of people just use it as an excuse to get drunk. And I think that's what most holidays are. They're just excuses for people to get drunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, especially I think especially this one. But I mean, it's up there with Mardi Gras. It's like why is that there? That's there so people can party and get drunk and I mean, yeah, I would say, in terms of I was going to say with my grandfather, right? So he's 100% Irish. So I take this DNA test where you swab your mouth
I
and
did
you
that.
get the results back.
23
No
and me.
Irish whatsoever.
Okay.
And the way I see this is that it must have predated my family being over there because that is the only reason I can see because I mean my grandfather's family grew up in I mean he grew up before he came to New York City. He grew up in Ireland and then I think some of his family back then like it kind of went back a few generations. But then I guess before that they must have immigrated there. And so I'm seeing like these results of the DNA from like before that.
I think because I did that 23 and me or whatever it's called, the DNA test. And I don't think that stuff is accurate,
Right.
actually,
I,
to
I
be
I have trouble
honest.
believing it. I do. I
Because
got 1% Nigerian. I'm like, I am the palest white guy in the world. How am I any Nigerian?
well, they say that almost everybody has a little bit, because apparently everybody is, originally from Africa. So I mean, like, there's a lot of like I had like 0.03% Chinese. I found out English. I'm like 60% English. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. And then like there's obviously I'm
You're not
Italian.
polite enough to be English, honestly.
Yeah, and I was disappointed. Obviously, I look Italian, and that's what most people think I am. And I'm a little bit Italian, but I was looking at the results of this thing, and a lot of it didn't add up. So I don't know how accurate those stupid tests are, and I want my money back.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
But anyways, we're veering way off topic. But holidays.
Holidays.
Holidays. I think 75% of holidays are BS. I think sometimes the older I get and the more bitter and cynical I get, the less and less I like most of these holidays. Father's
Let's
Day.
let's just let's state a fact about Christmas.
Okay.
Christmas was basically a holiday growing up for Houston that got in the way of his birthday. I
Yes.
mean, Houston was born on December 23rd, and that was very close to Christmas. And the kids that had that happen, it just sort of sucks because their families are just trying to get ready for Christmas. And it's like,
Yes.
oh, your birthday, dang it.
It's like we all have to, and like if I tried to have a birthday party, it was a pain in the ass for the other parents because they're like, oh, we have family coming in and we're doing all this stuff and getting ready for Christmas. Now we have to have a stupid birthday party for Houston. And so like I got gypped. I got gypped being born 2 days before Christmas. But
Nobody acknowledged Houston's birthday a lot of the times.
a lot of the times they just didn't, or they'd be like, Happy Christmas and birthday. But
It's like that is not what a kid wants to hear.
no. And it bothered me, but it didn't bother me that much. And while we're on the topic of Christmas, has always been like the holiday that I loved the most, obviously growing up. I don't know how you felt about Christmas, but there's a lot of nostalgia. Yeah, my birthday was 2 days before, and I kind of got gypped. But like, I always loved like the Christmas movies and the Christmas specials, and I liked getting presents and all that stuff. But the older I get, every time Christmas comes around, the older I am, the harder it is for me to like get into that like Christmas nostalgia. And I find that every single year Christmas becomes more and more inconvenient because, when I was a kid, I didn't have to get people presents. Then you become an adult and you have to get people presents. And that sucks. I always like just getting gifts and not giving them.
I liked Christmas quite a bit. I would say as a kid, it was hard because, my parents, like, bless them, did not really know that. Well, they didn't know how to get me gifts like other kids' parents did.
Mhm.
And so I was always sort of shooting for just like feeling like I got presents like the other kids, just that part of it, where it's like, I don't want this tennis racket. I remember like one Christmas I got a tennis racket. It's like, because kids were getting like Discman and they were getting video games and that was sort of the thing, just to feel like I fit in. It was sort of the thing I was hoping for, you
Well,
know.
did you ask for these things?
Oh, I would shoot them like this is, these things are the things that would probably be like the best
Mhm.
for it, but I wouldn't get them a lot of the time,
Hmm.
and they kind of were trying to gear it towards like, be humble, be happy for the gifts, but it's just like as a kid, I think especially as a boy, it's like, tennis racket. And it's like,
Your parents
yeah.
didn't want you to be a spoiled brat, is what you're trying to tell me.
It is true. I mean, and I think they succeeded. I mean, but I also think, at the time it was just difficult because they would then just be so upset that I'd be upset and Christmas morning was just totally blown. But like even still like around the holiday, it was just a great feeling. I think I always have thought, the world does get softer around the edges, like your family, your friends, and even just like strangers. It's just a time where people just are sort of more happy. It's even if it's just like forced, it's like, all right, I got to be happy because of Christmas. Like even still, like that sort of feeling is something that you kind of appreciate.
There,
It's just like
there's a magical feeling to Christmas. I mean, of course, the older I get, the harder it is to tap into that. But uh and like me, I always got the gifts I wanted because I was a
yeah.
spoiled brat and I
Yeah,
got
and
what
so
I
my
wanted.
gifts at Christmas were often Houston's gift that I would just go over and use.
Yes. And there was always like you know, Christmas morning, you'd get all excited I'm talking about me. I'd wake up all excited. I'd go downstairs and my mom had, or Santa had left all presents and you get to see all the unwrapped presents, and you
Wait, what are you
open.
saying with your mom and Santa? What did no, just but
I'm just not
yeah.
sure, if I should blow the, secret about Christmas, right?
I'm pretty sure anybody watching the podcast has realized that Santa is their parents at this
There's no
point.
like 5-year-olds watching our podcast, basically.
They're like, wait a minute. Yeah, yeah, hopefully.
But yeah, but like, yeah, and the excitement, and like the night before Christmas, like you're wondering, oh my God, am I going to get all the presents, blah blah blah. And then you open all the presents, and the wrapping papers all over the place, and oh, I got some surprise gifts, and ooh, I got the thing I asked for. And then there's the moment where all the presents have been opened, and it's over and done. And I remember that was always so depressing. Like I'd sit there with nothing left to open, no more presents, and it was just very depressing and defeating.
Right.
And
Right.
I think about that now, and I'm like, wow, I was a spoiled little brat.
Yeah, I mean, how lucky though, man. Like, and really, really being that spoiled little brat, like being able to have that dopamine high,
Yeah.
and then I feel like that's what happened is like it just comes crashing down to that child,
Yes.
because it's like right afterwards. And I think that's why it's that sunken, depressed feeling,
Yes.
is
It was like
because the
going,
dopamine goes, and then
yeah,
it's just like, oof.
it's over. It's over.
Right.
Even though I have all these toys to play with, even though I got what I asked for, it's still like there's nothing left to open. Like the dopamine would go down, and then it was just a very depressing feeling. It was like going on a bender, and then like all the drugs wear off. You know what I mean?
Right. But
But
for parents, it's like exactly the opposite. It's like, oh my goodness, thank God.
yeah,
You know,
exactly. Now they can
no
relax.
more. I don't have to deal with this anymore.
Yeah, and since I've grown up, I've become a very humble person. I don't ask for anything for Christmas anymore, and I just when I get the gifts, it's better that way because it's a surprise, and I'm always happy for what I got. And
Yeah, I mean, this past Christmas, I took a different angle with my friend Houston in the sense that I gave him a birthday gift. It's like, okay, you've been getting Christmas gifts your entire life. It's
mhm.
time for a birthday gift.
Yes, and I'm gonna hold on one second.
Okay, I think we're gonna see the birthday gift that I
So
got Houston.
this, of course, is the gift that Sean got me. I think it's backwards on the podcast camera.
No, no, I can no, I well, at least I read it correctly.
Yeah, so
So
this is what Sean got me for my birthday slash. It was just my birthday gift this year, and it's the greatest gift I've ever gotten in my entire life, and I take it
I,
everywhere with me.
so some things about this birthday gift. This was supposed to go back from the first birthday gift I ever got from Houston, which was a Philadelphia Eagles duffel bag.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the duffel bags from the Eagles and I was thinking, this is not going to work. But they had a backpack that you could sort of like be make unique to the person. And I was like, yeah, I'll do this. Like I'll put his name on it and then I'll put, his jersey number as 69 because it's like,
Yes.
why not?
Because that's funny.
Like
Get
Houston
it?
does not play sports, right? So it's like,
No.
why not just do the number of sex for that?
I love it. And I remember that like that birthday when I went to your house, that was like when we first started like hanging out, and I didn't know you that well at that point. And I remember I got you a Eagles duffel bag, and you opened it and you went, "Hmm. Yeah, but I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan." And I was like, "Okay, you didn't need to say that. You could have just
Right.
lied."
That you have a memory of that is spectacular. I don't. I just remember the duffel bag, but
Well, because as a kid, I was a Cowboys fan, and so I thought that was
right.
kind of cool. But I was also like, well, you could have just not said that, Sean.
Oh, and you got me that duffel bag, and we had a sleepover. I mean, and I think around that time you were thinking we're not going to be friends. This is like a one-time thing, and here we are 30 years later.
Mhm.
And I'm buying you like an Eagles, memorabilia crap.
Our friendship has endured.
Reminisce.
Out of all the friends and we're kind of getting off topic, but I don't care. Out of all the friends I've had in my life, you are the one that I've known the longest.
It's
Like,
true. I have always felt that of all the people I have ever met in my life, Houston was always above like the masses of people in
Oh,
creativity, and I think that's just the appealing this is what appeals to me about Houston is that his creativity is just uncharted, and it's something that I feel like if people could tap into it, we could have spectacular work, you know, throughout Houston's 40s. I still am hoping, Houston, I'm still hoping that you get famous off of your creativity, and I just sort of reap the benefits of being a friend.
well, that's going to be hard. Like, because, and again, we're getting way off topic, but I don't care. Uh, Maybe this is a topic for another podcast, but I'm a little bit popular on Instagram, but TikTok, I've had a lot of stuff go viral on TikTok, and they're talking about banning TikTok. Like,
So you have to find another outlet. But I mean, ultimately, your dad was famous. I think that's what helps you to sort of reach in that direction, is because it's sort of in the family. You inherited it, and all you have to do is find your plug in, and it'll be amazing. And I honestly believe that people will get a lot of comedy and humor that they never have really expected. And it's sort of time. I mean, and every podcast we do, I'm like, maybe this brings Houston one step closer. Whatever
in
door
my in
opens
my
that
eyes, I
avenue.
feel like I'm already kind of famous. That's how I feel.
Well, just
And
keep, yeah. Well, you've made work. I mean, and I predict it will continue to happen. And so I think, just keep pushing. I mean, ultimately, yeah, like I think extreme fame would just sort of, I think you have made work. I think it's been room for fame.
I think we have gotten, can you hear me? Are you having technical difficulties? You look very
I think so.
flustered. Can you?
No, I think it's okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. But we have gotten way off topic, right? We're supposed to be talking about holidays. So, can we talk about the bullshit holidays that I think are bullshit? Can we do that? Or are you having like a heart attack over there? What's going on?
I'm having technical difficulties with my headset.
Can you hear me? Is that the problem? Because I can hear you fine.
I can hear you. It's just flipping. It's like going back and forth.
Okay.
Dang it.
I think it's a
It's giving me notifications on the screen, but okay, now it stopped. All right.
okay. So anyway, um,
That's
you
what
look
happens when I say something flattering. It's like karma.
yes.
It's like immediately a technical difficulty.
It's God telling you not to keep feeding my ego because I'm so full of myself.
Yeah, it's the universe saying, okay, this guy's got to get brought back down to earth.
Yeah, Houston humbled. Houston needs to be humbled. Can we talk about the bullshit holidays? The holidays I think are
Let's do
bullshit.
that. Let's do that.
Father's Day, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, everything except Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Why can't we get rid of all of them? There are too many
Exactly.
holidays.
Mother's Day must feel good to be a mother. However, any woman who wants to be a mother that is not, it's like the most depressing holiday ever to
Yeah.
watch other women be celebrated by their children. And it's like, I just want a child. I feel like that's terrible.
Some women, they can't have children too. That's another thing. And then it's like, um, and I used to always joke when I was a kid, where's Son's Day? Why don't sons get a holiday? But
Right?
it just frustrates me because, and I mean, just, and you're a dad. I'm not a dad. Maybe that's why I don't see, I never
Yeah,
like
like I'm
those.
a dad and I care less about Father's Day. I really do. I just like, all right, thanks. And sometimes, honestly, I'll get these gifts and I'll just leave them in the trunk of my car for a really long time.
Yeah.
I don't even open them. And then like 6 to 8 months later, I'm like, what the heck? I'll just open it. and it's like, oh, this is kind of sweet or whatever. And it's like, I should have opened this like 6 to 8 months ago, I bet.
Yeah, and like another one that really makes me mad is I think the worst holiday of all is Valentine's Day.
It's true. I mean, it's similar to Mother's Day that I said, in the sense that, like, if you have a person that you're with, you celebrate together, but then there's a bunch of people that are just lonely. It's like, why shove it in their face? Why not
Exactly.
just celebrate with the person that you're with without a freaking name on a day? Why not just like be happy to be with somebody anyway?
Yeah, it's BS, and yeah, it makes people that are single feel bad. And I feel like there have been so many Valentine's days in my life where I've either been single. I once had a girl break up with me like 4 days before Valentine's Day. It was awful, and I cursed the Valentine's gods or whatever, and I was like, "Why have you forsaken me?" I think it's a BS. You know what I mean? Like there's too many
Yeah.
holidays and they're frustrating and I don't want to deal with it anymore.
And
Like,
Cupid's back there like drinking a beer and like eating some grapes, like, haha, that stupid loser. This is
yeah,
fun to watch.
it's
And then I think uh on that same note, the pressure that our entire side society puts on, you have to be with people when it is a holiday. It's like, I'm enjoying my time by myself. I see
yes.
people when I need to or have or want to. It's not always on the same day. And then the holiday comes around. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't have somebody to be with this day.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's the
gosh,
thing.
I'm going to be lonely and sad.
It's
Why? It's
it's
like, why
like
not just say, if you're not going to be with somebody that day, it's fine. You don't care any other day.
exactly. It's I've had a lot of holidays like that where I just don't get involved in that. Like today is St. Patty's Day. I'm doing this podcast with you, but I'm going to spend the rest of my night making music by myself. And I'm fine with that. I don't like, yeah, like you said, like that pressure, like where you have to be doing something on every holiday. And that's what I don't like about holidays. Is like,
Oh man, it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. Like I have a few Ambien and I almost never take them, but
yeah.
holidays I would pop Ambien. It's like, all right, well, see you guys later. Like, I'm gonna pop this Ambien at 6 p.m. and I'm gonna be asleep at 7, like dreaming of something.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
like
gonna
ultimately, yeah,
and then like when I go back to work, uh on Wednesday, everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, what'd you do on St. Patty's Day?" And I'm probably gonna have to make something up. Like, I don't know. I hung out with my buddy Sean, even though technically we're just hanging out on the internet. That's
right.
what I did on St. Patty's Day because I don't drink anymore and I don't care. Half the people celebrating don't even know what St. Patty's Day is celebrating.
And this social pressure of being with people has been a plague my whole life, because I'm introverted and I don't care. I'm gonna like spend some time by myself in this life. Like, I like to work out by myself. I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think I accomplish more than being in groups, like trying to compare myself with other people's like ability at that exact moment. I think that's not the best way to get in shape. Things like that. But it comes down to the holiday, right? And so like my thought is like, New Year's Eve. And I must have been 13 or 14, and I might have had plans, but they got canceled and I ended up by myself. And so that night when I was 13 or 14, it came down to like, okay, I'm going to try to whack off and hit the and that exact moment, of 12 o'clock, I'm gonna try to be spooging. And afterwards, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm such a loser.
That
But
is
ultimately, like,
That is something you would like I would have done at that age too. Like that's the only
it's
time like where it's I don't know, that's a whole other topic, but like
no, I have all these thoughts. It's like, why did society make that terrible? It's like, it would be so much better if guys just did not feel guilty, right? So going on that random topic, it's like, why not just let us not feel guilty, okay? Like, I build up the need to poop every day. I build up the need to pee every day, and it's all good and it's all fine and nobody cares.
can I
But
can I
if you have to relieve yourself in that way, it's like, you're gross. That's gross. It's like, why is that
Every
gross?
every guy does it. Every guy does it. And if you're a lady out there who has like a husband or something and you think he doesn't because he tells you he doesn't, he's full of shit.
Yeah, I can't stand that look. And it's like we're all gonna die having like, I don't know, prostate cancer or something because we refuse to like keep healthy because it's not really a like good thing. It's like, well, maybe if we were all just willing to like do it and not be ashamed of it, we'd all be a lot healthier.
Listen, I think this is a very good. We should save this because I think this topic could be a topic in itself for a very long podcast we could do sometime, like a special. We could call it the Splooge special, and we could just talk about like the history of whacking off. And
Okay,
I
now let's do something. We're gonna pull up a whiteboard. I'm gonna put up a holiday,
okay,
and then Houston, you just talk about the holiday in any
okay,
way.
all right. One
Okay.
sec. I'm still here, but hold on. All right.
All right,
Kind of
let's
kind of
do
threw me
this.
off with this. Okay. President's Day, I could give a fuck less about President's Day. Who gives a shit? First of all, I'm not going to get political right now, but I don't like politicians. I don't trust presidents. I think they're all full of shit, and I don't care about President's Day. President's Day can go fuck itself.
Okay, next one. Next one here.
Fuck Abraham Lincoln. There, I said it.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Next one, next one. Here we go.
New Year's Eve, another holiday where, like, you know, I obviously I don't drink anymore, and I always thought New Year's, since I've been sober, when I'm sober, I always thought New Year's Eve was a stupid holiday too, because it's like, oh, it's a new year, the number changed, now it's not 2023 anymore, it's 2024, and everyone watching the ball drop, you're all full of shit, and you can all go fuck yourselves.
Yeah,
Fuck New Year's
I mean,
Eve.
the older I get with New Year's Eve, it's like, okay, I'm gonna watch New York City because there's a time change and I don't have to stay up as late. I it's like the holiday for me, it's like, oh my goodness, why do I have to stay up that late, you know?
Yeah, it's dumb. It's a stupid holiday.
All right.
4th of July. 4th of July can go fuck itself. No. Again, that's another holiday where it's just really an excuse for people to barbecue and get drunk, and it's I don't particularly care
It's
for
the
it.
hottest day. It's like it's the hottest day of any holiday. You got to
Yeah.
sit there and watch people pass by you in their little like carts and stuff that they've made. And I'm like sitting there like, this is great, but I am hot. My balls are hot. I'd like to not be outside right now.
The food is never really that great. I mean, it's always like, oh, we're gonna fire some hamburgers on the grill. I don't give a fuck. Those hamburgers can go fuck themselves. Okay, Halloween. This is a holiday that I do care for. Well, I don't, I really don't. I like Halloween because it's the only time of the year where it's cool to look at, like, to have like someone with guts falling out of their body on your front lawn, and it's scary, and I'm into scary stuff. um when I was younger, I used to go to we used to have a Halloween fog party at my friend's house. That was pretty cool. But what do you think about Halloween?
I love it. I love the fact that I'm gonna people watch anyway. I pretty much people watch every time I'm out in public. It's like my favorite thing to do. But that day I people watch and it's like, I get to kind of determine whether they're creative or not,
Mhm.
or how funny their costume is. It's fun.
I like Halloween. I like the changing season. I like fall. I like watching scary movies, and it's like uh it's I give Halloween a B plus as
All
far
right,
as
let's
holidays.
see. All right, let's close it. But yeah, going back to sort of, I think it's been a good rant podcast. I mean, we've kind of ranted a lot. I, I will say one thing in the positive is that I do tend to find that I like to give gifts. It's one of the love languages, the five love languages is gift giving. So if I do have an excuse, I will do it. And um that's pretty much my positive take on holidays is like it's sometimes it's just a good excuse for me because I'm gonna do this anyway where it's like I'm gonna shove gifts in somebody's face and hope they like it
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know
that's good of you. I holidays like Christmas, buying gifts for people gives me extreme anxiety. I don't know why, but I do like also giving gifts.
I wish that there was a love language just called receiving gifts. And like they really feel like that they love somebody because somebody got them a gift. But that's not how that works. And I sort of realized that it's like you can only hit so high with that love language because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, he gave me a gift. Life is the same.
Yeah,
But I wish wouldn't that be nice if it's just like this love language is just the fact that you like to get stuff, but it doesn't work like that.
exactly. Yeah.
What are
I
some
mean,
other love languages? We got you know, oh man, I don't even know, like words of affirmation. I don't know all five of them. I just know that one because I really do like I get kicks. It's like, all right, you're getting a lunch today because DoorDash exists and I like to give stuff to people.
okay. If
I
you
wish
ever
there
want,
was window dash because if you ever feel uncomfortable with like the people that are going to receive your lunch at the door, it'd be nice if there was like a window dash where somebody is just like knocking on your window. It's like
uh-huh.
boom, 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 and you're like, what? And it's like, wait, there's a guy and he has a lunch. It's right there at my window. You know.
Hey, that's your idea. I mean, you want to patent it? We can go in 50-50. You know what I mean?
Okay, I got a story of window knocking really quick. This happened this past week. I'm like all engaged in like old music videos that I've never seen. So specifically, I got sort of hooked on the Fugees and the song Lauryn Hill sings, uh,
Strumming my
"Killing."
pain with this
Yeah, "Killing Me
finger.
Softly," right? So
Yeah.
she didn't do the original, but I was watching them make this video. They're in like a movie theater,
Hmm.
and she's like throwing popcorn on Wyclef Jean and Praz, right?
Hmm.
I'm like all engaged. I'm watching it probably over and over again, sitting in my car in the driveway of my house,
That's cool.
and finish up. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is my phone producing this much light? And I'm so confused, right? Like all of a sudden, my phone has given me all this light, and then I'm like looking, and there's a man at my window. So I'm scared, right? I'm like naturally like, whoa, like no idea who this guy is, but there's this light in my car. So I pull down the window, and the fear sort of slowly transitions to the fact that there's a guy at my window to the fact that there's a police officer at my window, right?
Ooh.
So I'm looking at him and I'm like, I'm like, uh, what's going on? He's like, how much have you had to drink? And this is on like it's odd, right? Because I'm like parked at the house.
Uh-huh.
And I think I've been sitting there for a little bit. I think he got tired of like waiting to watch me fumble out of the car or something.
Hmm.
And so all of a sudden I'm taking this sobriety test at my house. And honestly, I would have, if I had gotten a DUI, I would have gone down in history as the only guy to have not had a sip of even anything remotely related to alcohol and had a DUI.
Because you
But
failed
anyway,
the
so I'm gonna
sobriety
this
test, even though
sobriety
you're
test. He's like, he's pointing his pointer finger. He's like, follow this, but don't move your head. And I followed that finger and didn't move my head like my life depended on it. It was like, anyway, so I kicked butt on this DUI sobriety test. And I was sort of proud of myself, like, yeah, I'm kicking butt at a sobriety test.
and you were sober, right? You hadn't had anything to drink?
I hadn't had anything to drink. I was just watching like Lauryn Hill, probably like zigzagging because of that.
That doesn't sound right to me that a cop would do that to you.
Very odd, right? But no, yeah. So my radio is busted in my car. So like I took my son through a car wash. The antenna was up. It's like one of those automatic ones. And I just had never, it's the first time I did this in the car. And it busted the antenna. So I need to replace it. So like my phone becomes like the source of entertainment. But the
Mhm.
problem is that like this music also comes equipped with like their videos, you know?
Yeah.
So I start like just being engaged in the music video, and I think that's what happened. Well, that totally is what happened. Anyway, he's like, give me your license. So I give him my license. He's like, do you have any warrants? Do you have any arrests? Do you have any records? I'm like, no. So he goes back to his car, comes back, gives me his license, gives me back my license, and leaves. And then I like hop out. I'm like, well, gonna try to go to sleep after that. That's gonna be kind of hard because like all this adrenaline from this random situation has now happened to me.
Yeah, that seems very bizarre that, I mean, a police officer would do that to you. When I was younger, um, and cops, I had an experience where a cop did something like that to me, and I was sober, and I was mouthy with the cop. Like I was very mouthy to the police because I had a bad experience with a cop in Boston when I was 19, and that's a story
Right.
for another podcast. Um, but yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's I'm
you
glad
definitely
you.
don't want to be mouthy to a cop.
No, it's stupid. It's stupid. Well, I'm older now and I know that, and like, I don't do that anymore. And but like, I'm very happy that you passed your sobriety test when you were sober, Sean, because
Right, exactly.
if you didn't, I'd be a little bit concerned.
Right. No, I followed his finger like my life depended on it to get out of trouble. I was like, I don't
Get
want
out
to
of
get in
trouble
trouble
for doing
tonight.
what? You weren't doing anything. You're
Yeah, I was
completely
watching Lauryn
innocent.
Hill. I honestly blame Lauryn Hill on this whole situation.
Yeah, it is her
Like
fault.
she was very, she wasn't exactly beautiful, but engaging. Her
Yeah.
eyes, like it was, an engaging woman, like from back
She
then.
was a big, big deal. I remember when her solo album came out, it was huge. And then she
Oh
just
yeah,
vanished. She's been gone.
right.
She hasn't done anything in like years.
It was, which sort of makes sense. Like once you're making money off those royalties, it's like why keep going? I mean, why not just let the money rack up? I mean.
Because she's not a true artist. A true artist never quits.
I agree with that, but it's also tempting if I did get into something like that position where it's like I've done enough work, I don't need to work anymore.
Yeah, and maybe she wanted to go out on a high note. I don't know. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
I
why
I I thought
why
those songs were catchy.
I loved the Fugees,
You
and
Wop.
I loved I like Ready or Not, Here I Come,
It's a good
Gonna
song.
Find You. Like that's a great. I love the Fugees, and I liked Lauryn Hill, and maybe she just wanted to go out on top, and maybe she thought like, what if I put out a bad album like this? I want to be remembered for winning all these Grammys and making this big album, and then poof, disappeared.
Yeah, I saw her recently. I'm like, oh yeah, she was a musician.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
can't remember where I saw her. I like it was on a Tonight Show or SNL or something. I saw her again not too long ago. Like, you know,
Apparently, the Fugees tried to get back together, and Wyclef Jean said that Lauryn Hill was being an awful diva, and that's why
hmm.
they've never reunited because she was a pain in the ass to deal with.
I mean, yeah, and that would also be tempting if I had all the money in the world. It'd be like, yeah, you know, like sort of, I feel like sort of like an Axl Rose type of situation where
Mhm.
it's like, I have all the money in the world. Why am I like putting myself out? And if I am going to do this, I'm going to be a diva. Like Axl Rose is the one and only diva who is, in fact, a guy.
Axl Rose also disappeared for 10 years. There wasn't even a photograph of him after like the height of Guns N' Roses fame. And when everyone like kind of hated him, he just vanished for 10 years. And nobody even knew what he looked like for 10 years because there weren't any photos of him. And then he came back with the cornrows and he was all crazy looking. But
I
yeah,
do
he
think, you know, in terms of his voice and what he was doing back then, that type of singing you can't do your whole life. You
no,
know,
he cannot sing anymore.
eventually your falsetto and whatever, however he does that is gonna not do that anymore. You know,
It's
as like
it yeah.
his voice gets older. I mean, it's just not, you know, where
He can't
some
sing.
guys,
Have
you
you seen
know,
him
if you
singing
sing,
now? Have you seen him singing
no,
lately?
honestly, I have not. I have
He's
not.
terrible. He can't sing anymore. Like he destroyed his voice. And I'm like, why are you still touring if your voice doesn't work anymore? You know what I mean?
It's
It's
got to
like,
be about the cheddar.
well, there, yeah,
They should have a holiday called Cheddar Day, and it just be like us celebrating like money.
that's actually a dope idea.
Yeah, we're like, what are we gonna spend money on this Cheddar Day?
Cheddar Day, just celebrate money and materialism. That's a great idea.
Yeah, we just celebrate that we don't have to like actually do everything anymore. As long as you do something and you make money, you can go buy other stuff that you didn't have to like work, you know, to get. I don't know.
It would be another good holiday to have more people feel left out. Like poor people will be like, oh, well, I can't really celebrate Cheddar Day because I'm
Yeah,
broke.
yeah, exactly. And then they flip on TV and it's just a bunch of crowd of people that have
Yeah.
money like
We have
celebrating
money. And like, what
with the
did you
one
do on Cheddar Day? I'm
with
like, nothing.
the hand, you know, like there's always people with like the first finger like
Yeah.
baseball
The
stuff and
giant,
they're just
giant
waving it.
finger. Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been podcast episode number 8. We hope you have enjoyed this podcast. Stay tuned until the next one, episode number 9.
Episode 9.